Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Evildragonxxl, and welcome everyone yet again to the main menu screen. My favourite screen for one or two reasons. It means we're getting ready for another AOR stream, which has just started now, and we're also getting ready for another beautiful race here today at round 2 here at Suzuka. Technically it's round 3 because the first 2 were the other day, but alas, this is technically round 2. So, again, joining me in the commentary box is my beautiful Dutchman who is currently not underwater today. Hello, Vetro.
Hello, everybody. It's Vector here once again, just like 2 weeks ago. It is a shame that they only are in once in the 2 week these races. But anyway, I am pumped to go to Sakito, aka Butcher Suzuka today. And we've got a full grid of drivers today, so that's also a really nice thing to see.
Indeed. One driver pulled out last week, and that driver has been immediately replaced with VSR Rosie. It was the one who could not connect last week, of course. Unfortunately, we can't give you drivers or constructor standing because the AOR site is currently not available. It's down. Still down, I think. So, unfortunately, we'll try and update you if it comes back up, and we'll give you the driver standings, but unfortunately, it has been down all day, so alas, we can't do a lot about that adventure, but from the first race, though, all I can remember, Kaiser has a lot to work for. He had a rather terrible second race, had a very good first race. However, the reverse grid format seems to be working quite well for these races.
I think one of the factors, because it's working so well, is it's really hard to overtake with these cars, and when you overtake, you gotta be 100% sure you can make it, because the slightest contact can ruin your race. So, unlike GT3 races with the reverse standings, the faster guys will come through the field really, really quickly. But with these cars, it isn't that easy, so that plays a really huge role.
Indeed. Well, let's get ready to go then, Vetro. 15 whole minutes of qualification ahead of the drivers today. Again, Suzuka, or Sakito, as we're going to call it today, but we'll call it Sakito for simplicity's sake, because it will confuse me more than anything. A circuit that is a grand total of 5.38 kilometers as well. A slight differentials from the Suzuka circuit. Instead of taking the left-handers in the S, you're taking rights. The only other difference, the hairpin is not there, of course, and the 130R complex is completely flat out from 130R to the start line. So basically, Vetro, as soon as you come out of Spoon, it's just a whole massive run of DRS, and when there's a mistake around here, oh boy, you know there's a mistake, because there's a chances for monumental accidents. We saw an Endurance League, and there's always a chance we'll see it today.
Oh, definitely. Those really high curves on the inside, or when it goes back to the right again. Oh dear, when you go over that with a few wheels, probability is we will find some cars flying through the sky. Most likely, so that will be something to look, well, not to look forward to, but to be mindful of. We might actually see that. Fogarty is the first to go out on track in his red car, followed by a
McLaren
black car.
Still call it the McLaren. Still the McLaren. We can't give you the team names because we can't get onto the site to tell you the team names, because I wrote them down and then I forgot where I saved it because I'm clever today. And yeah, so commentary lessons 101, write it on paper in future, because when you write on notepad and then you forget where you put it, it's awkward. Well, there's the Kaiser, of course, the man who often is looking for a fix. He had some issues with his wheel recently, where he's going very close to Fogarty there in the Ferrari-esque car, but had some issues with the wheel where he's been clipping the thing, so every time he turns sometimes he just presses the PS button and it chucks him out. So, alas, hopefully that's not going to be costing him the race today. There is Jazzman just behind Fogarty so far. Fogarty, who did have a relatively good second race yesterday. Last Monday, of course. He finished a 5th or 6th position. So he's often looking for some good results. Currently in the pit lane, STR, the last STR down, I think that is in the pit lane. There he is now coming out of the pit lane. A very interesting thing about this pit lane, Vetro, and you see it sometimes when they're not they're standing still. It's a very big, let's just say, drops randomly, and Project Cars 3, I know it's coming out in just over a month's time. We're all looking forward to it. Hopefully they can, one, they hopefully get Suzuka. That would be nice. I mean, I like this circuit. It's beautiful, but it's not Suzuka. However, the only thing I like about this circuit, Vetro, is the last sector is brilliant, especially when you hook it up.
It is brilliant, but there isn't really a lot to hook up or not. It's just full flat, and especially in these cars, look, it's pretty easy to go full flat. It can be rewarding, but I don't think it isn't that. It's not really giving an adrenaline rush, is it?
Yeah, it doesn't often give you a training rest, but when you make a mistake at that high speed, though, it's often you're going to end up in a simply horrific accident. Coming up to the S section right now, as we currently go on board with Racing at Home, coming into the S section yet again, taking the right-hander. A long right-hander and into a very long left-hander. This is the Dunlop curve, as we often call that, coming under where the old Dunlop sign used to be. Then coming down to Degner. Yeah, Degner, of course, brake about the 50-metre board, chuck it into the right-hander. Careful you don't bottom out and then spin off into the barrier there, because that can happen occasionally, very easy for Degner too. Then coming down to where the hairpin used to be, needs to take a little straight. If you take the right there, that is the short variant of this circuit. Now coming up over the top of the hill, down towards Spoon Curve. Hey, braking again here, braking about your 50-metre board. You can see there is the indicator there. Chuck it into the left. And this is all the familiar section. Build the speed back on the exit. Just let the car run out over to the curve. Not too far off so you go on the grass. And then just blast it straight down this monumental straight. And you won't see them lifting, by the way, until we get to turn number 1. Down to 130R, which is compared to the real one, is 130 degrees. Through they come. There's a massive Ferris wheel in the background coming through the last corner. Careful don't clip the inside bollards, obviously going to space. And coming to the line. Let's see. So far, 14th position for Big Kid Danny. Can he improve? The answer to that is a grand total of... Yes, he goes up to third.
Position.
So, third for him.
We go.
Sian up to fourth. So far in the other car. There's Chicano coming through the back of the circuit through 130. A little bit wide for him. Want to be careful though, as everyone goes through. Kaiser and Jazzman so far 1, 2 in qualifying. Big Kid Daddy, Sian, Mikkel in 5th, ahead of Cologne in 6th. Tinnis in 7th, Edwin Stratus in 8th. Fogarty ahead of Cleet, Rob in currently, well, see Rob currently to 12th. And let's see across this line. Currently, let's see, can he improve? The answer to that so far is no, he does not. Limaro, should I say, coming through the last corner. 13th position for the Renault car, from the Remco liveried car, of course. They've not had the best first couple of races. Stays 13th. STR Dam through the last corner. Yellow flags currently through the Degner corners as well. So someone's made a few mistakes down there, but it's currently gone green for the time being. STR Dan, where can he get himself so far? 10 minutes to go in qualification here today, and he goes up to 4th.
Position.
Good lap for him.
Nice lap time. See, Racing at Home is currently on a lap, but it's pretty early, and even actually Rotary, I should say, actually went back to the pits. So something must have been wrong, maybe a slight mistake, maybe something on the setup not really right, but he will start at the lap time position now.
Yeah, he's just coming through the back of the circuit right now to the last corner. Well, there is teammate right now, currently in 5th, Fogarty in 4th as well. So Fogarty doing a good job so far today, but as per usual, the two McLarens up on the first 2 rows of the grid, or the first row.
How fast these guys are. I mean, Kaiser and Jasmine are just... they were pretty dominant, actually, 2 weeks ago at Hockenheim. And it seems, again, they are... like Kaiser is 1.2 in front of Jasmine, and Jasmine is 8/10 in front of Chicano. So, you can just see the differential in speed and then sheer pace, because these cars really separate the big man from the boys.
Indeed, especially Kaiser, Jazzman. They're often the 2 juggernauts of the Project Cars League. Jazzman often classes himself, and to be fair, in credit where credit due, is one of the best drivers on the game. But right now, it's his teammate, his long-time rival, the Kaiser. These two always love to have their little inter-team battles. Currently on pole position yet again, 2nd time this season. However, don't count your chickens, because we've still got 8 minutes to go in qualifying. Jazzman's going to improve by 1/10, so puts him still over a second off. But remember, Vectro, those two are... Oh, Kai's a bit of a mistake through the exit of Degner. Both of them a second quicker than Chicano in 3rd, Bicky Daddy in 4th, very close behind. Then we've got Tinnis and Fogarty. So again, we're seeing these real big drops. You've got the Tier 1 drivers, especially for GT3 and LMP, really, up there in the top 5 positions. Then you've just kind of got this gaggle of cars waiting for Rotary and Racing at Home to finish their competitive lap times, at least, as Mikkel going through turn number 1. There's CNG Racing at Home's teammates currently going through the S section. Always beautiful this circuit, especially when it comes to the nighttime Vectro. Of course, we won't see it because these cars, alas, do not have lights on a Formula car. Well, that would be an interesting concept, but the Ferris are beautiful, especially at nighttime.
Oh, it seems that Cian is getting a bit of held up by one of the yellow cars.
Yeah, one of the Renaults.
Actually gone off. Let's see who that is. Oh, it's Rob K.
Yeah.
And
Renault tandems. They're at the pit lane for good measure. That's Rob and Lamaro coming straight up at Kidali through
only
the
25,000 behind Chicano. Pretty close. Let's see what are other pretty tiny gaps. He's currently 1/10 up, so let's follow him on this lap. He might get into 4th position. I think Racing at Home actually went. No, he didn't. I think. Yeah, he went up to 3rd.
Yeah, good point.
It's a nice lap from him.
Puts himself 3rd position there, and that is, alas, 7 and a bit tenths off of Jasmine so far. We're now just waiting for VSR Rotary to set his competitive lap time in the other, I believe it is the Jaguar livery car. Once we're riding aboard with the Jordan so far, down the hill we come, and the undulation changing up and down all the time. 80,000. So it's pretty close.
It will be enough if he doesn't make any mistakes.
Indeed, just don't clip the curb too much, let the car run out wide. You see he's keeping the car relatively close to the inside here through the last corner, bringing it right up to the wall as close as you can. Let the car roll out right, get the most momentum you can to the line. Let's see Bikuday looking for 4th position. Can he do it? No, he can't. Lost 14,000.
Where did he lose that time then? I think he may have had a really bad exit out of Spoon, and he carried it all the way along the straight. So that's pretty sour for him because he was right up.
Too close, Vector, on the exit of the 130R corner. He didn't let the car run out right. He was scrubbing speed up all the time, and of course, unfortunately, that's cost him. And Stratus in 10th position. We're still waiting for Ethan to set his competitive lap time down the back for the rotary-engined Jaguar car. That'd be an interesting concept to Formula car with a rotary engine. I think Mazda should get onto that one soon enough, because that thing will be beautiful. Well, that's a Vectro. Quite a spread qualifying so far. Got a big gag of cars again from 6th down to a 10th position. Often within that second window. Then everyone else in the threes. Stratus a bit of a sliding exit for him. He's currently in 10th position, down by a 10th. So it looks like his lap pretty much over. Tennis through the last corner in the other Jaguar and the other Jordan, shall we say?
See what he can do. He needs 4 attempts at least.
And
he goes 16,000 up. So that's not enough to get a position. Right, Fogarty down in 9th. Let's see, he needs 2 tenths to get in front of Tinnis, and he needs about 6 tenths to get up to 7. So, see, oh, Ethan actually went up to P4, so that's a really nice lap from him. 1,000 away. 1,000 actually.
Yeah, my apologies.
He's 3 tenths up.
Yeah,
so
this is a good lap.
He's up for another improvement there.
That's as close as we've seen for a while. But Ethan and Racing at Home have had a history, though, Vector, haven't they? We remember all that happened in the Endurance League. Very intriguing moment where there was some contact. Ethan wasn't very happy with Racing at Home and vice versa. And let's say they was taking the stewards, and Ethan got a very hefty fine for that infraction, should we say. So he's been told. Yep, infringement. My dyslexia coming through as per usual. Well, 5 attempts up so far, so let's see.
He might actually do an attack on P2 actually, if he finds a few more attempts in the coming 4 minutes. Oh, there, that's gonna cost him a lot.
That cost him about a tenth, of course. A high-speed section. He just about caught it. He is on the Thrustmaster wheel. Comes across the line, let's see, where can he go? Should put him into 3rd position easily, yep, quite comfortably. In fact, he gained time rather than lose it. Back to the pit lane to do some more setup changing. Jazzman, meanwhile, has decided to take out the bollards of doom. And someone's not be happy with that. Brake marker boards are gone. Chicana down to 6th position so far. Michael, by the way, down in 14th position. 3.5 seconds off the pace. He's had a horrible qualifying for the young Dutchman.
9,000 up. Unless he can win 2 tenths here, he won't make up any positions. Let's see, Cold Tire, can he improve? He needs 1 tenth to go in front of Racing at Home. See if he can improve.
The beautiful orange, blue and white livery. He's currently 7 seconds down, alas, so he won't be improving too much. Racing at Home in the Panasonic Toyota. for the last corner. The blue Toyota, as I have to call that. Across the line, let's see, can he improve at all? No, he stays 16 seconds down, so stays 4th.
Dennis is 1 thousandths away from 6th position, 1 thousandths behind Chicano.
Yes.
But it's really close between 6th, 7th and 8th position.
Yeah, they are. Within half a 10th Vectro, so good spot. Further down we got STR Dan, there's Chicano somewhere.
He might do an attack on 5th position, but we don't know. See if he can improve anyway.
Jazzman in the pit there, meanwhile, for 2nd position in qualification. We're just waiting for the final outings today for the shoot for pole position, of course. We've still got Kaiser, Jazzman, Ethan racing at home ahead of Cold Tires. Chicano currently in 6th ahead of Tinnis, Vicky Daddy, and Wimstratus. 10 positions so far for STR Dan as we currently look at Chicano. Currently 2.3, 2 and a bit temps up, might we say, coming through 130R. Keep the car to the inside here. Pride and Brew with all the speed up through the last corner. Blinking, you'll miss it, and you hit those curbs. You are going into a monumental accident through the last corner. Where can Chicano go so far, 8th? Where does he end up? Should put him about 7th position if he does it. Yep, does do 7th then, so...
Only 7 thousandths up at the end. Yeah. He did lose 2 tenths somewhere.
Again, taking too much of a shallow line through 130R. You can see all the drivers doing it today. Siam having a nice tow of Fogarty just up the road as our 13th position for the other Toyotas so far.
Let's see. He might be able to improve his time a bit and moving up a position. He was 1/10 up, so that's kind of what he needs. And there we go, it goes 3 tenths up, so he goes up into 12th position. See Rob and Lemaro. Lemaro actually 4 seconds in total off the pace, and about 1 point. Well, let's see. Yeah, 6 tenths, I think. 6 tenths.
Yeah.
Down. See Jasmine up for an improvement, possibly.
No, outlap, I think.
I think an outlap. He may have another choice. Chance, I mean.
Behind him,
yeah,
actually.
He actually helped him, I think, with the slipstream.
Yeah,
See, he only needs 2 tenths. Rotary does, so let's see if he can improve. Will be pretty astonishing if he can get into 2nd. If I count him out.
Qualifying over.
No, never mind. I don't think. Yeah, 20 seconds remaining, so everybody who is on the lap right now will be their final lap. Let's see.
Daddy lagging a bit. So some ping issues for BKD then. 24 fathoms down. Fogarty down at 11th so far. The old horse, the old timer. 337 Grand Prix. Motor racing starts in AOR, alas. The definition of old timer. Some say maybe it's time for retirement. Fogarty said, nah, I'm not retiring, I'm young. Across the line he comes. Let's see where he can go. So far 11th. Does he improve? The answer to that is no, he does not. So he'll stay at 11th position. Racing it home through the back of the circuit so far. He is in 6th position. Cold Tires in 4th. Big Daddy in 5th, up by 1/10 of a second. Just over a 10th and a half for good measure. Let's see, can he get himself up ahead of Cold Tires just up the road? Want to take a nice wide exit here. Again, they're taking such a shallow line through 130R. Now, I think it's costing them here in the long run. To the line he comes then. Big Daddy, can he get himself up on to 4th position? The answer is a grand total of yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
By just under a 10th of a second, then about 40 thousandths.
All the way down there. See, BKD finishes lap. Cold Tire can still improve though. He only needs 1/10 to take the 4th position away from him again.
Sketchy on the rear end.
Oh,
keeps
there
the
goes
car.
the cones.
Yeah, keeps himself right up to that wall, getting every thousandth he possibly can. Cold Tire across the line. Does he improve? He does not improve, and that is qualifying then today here at Sakita, then here for the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's Kaiser yet again on pole position for the 2nd time in this season. Jazzman making it at McLaren 1-2 again for the 2nd time. Behind them, the Jaguar of Ethan, ahead of the Jordan of Big Kid Daddy. Behind them, Cold Tires in the beautiful toothpaste livery, often they call it. And comes the Panasonic car of racing at home. Chicano ahead of the other Jaguar of STR Dan. Tinnis down there in 9th position. Disappointing qualifying for him, and that is all we're going to see for the time being. Behind them with Stratus down there in 10th, Fogarty 11th, Cian in 12th, Michael in 13th, Robin 14th, and the Morrow, disappointing, in 15th position.
See, let's get everything up again. The map, the speedometer, and the split times. Anyway, Kaiser, he won about 7/10 in the final sector. It's unbelievable where he finds the time. He also found 4/10 in the first sector alone, so it's astonishing how fast he actually is. It's pretty unbelievable, you can call it.
Remember, like, short first race, about 12-13 laps, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be a quick blast, Vectro. Then, of course, we've got the feature race coming up in just over about 20 to 30 minutes. So expect the unexpected, Vectro. Who do you think is going to win this race? You can't put it past the Kaiser.
Yeah, I think all arrows are aimed at Kaiser for this race. The chances are you will just stream away into the distance, of course. There were 13 laps. It's always way too early to tell anything about what the race will do. One tiny mistake and, you know, these cars are like in a shambles. It's the damage is pretty significant on these cars. So let's just see how the first corner goes, and the second and the third. And, well, but if everything goes his way, no one can stop him, I think.
Indeed, do get your comments in the chat. By the way, we're getting ready to go in just a few seconds' time, Veteran. Turn number 1, right-hander. You've seen it before, how often the carnage can prevail. Remember what happened, Frost and Senna in 1990. We've seen it before, we could see it again. Issues, drama, anything can happen, although we're not going to see any punts at the chicane because there isn't really a chicane on this circuit. But let's get ready to go then. 13 laps ahead of the drivers today here in Suzuka. Followed by Toronto. When they're off, they're underway, and there's the 4th, and then there's the 5th. Good start then from Jazzman. Stonking start from Jazzman. Ethan as well, and what's out there is Big Kid Daddy trying to come from the inside. Contact with Jazzman, absolute number 1, but it's Ethan up in the 2nd position. One car running very wide in the background. One of the toothpaste cars getting pushed out wide. I'm not sure who that is. Oh my God! Horrible accident. That's Fogarty. Was that Cole Fogarty off? It is Cole Fogarty yet again. Trouble for the Englishman, and he's upside down before the race has even got started. Stonking though from Kaiser, Ethan following shit. One car off in the wall with Stratus off as well. Both the Renaults down the back. Chad in trouble yet again. So Drama as well. Fogarty in trouble, and we feared something like this could happen. Ethan in 2nd position, though. Good start for him. Kaiser up front. Jazzman ahead of both of the Jordans. Good start from Tinnis, by the way. Up from 8th to 4th. Lemar and Rob 2K coming to the field.
There's lost his front wing as well.
Chicano in trouble.
All the way down there. Shadows, Cian and Fogarty in deep trouble. The Jazzman and Rotary are actually battling really hard. Jazzman has actually taken that 2nd position away from him. There is Tinnis, I think.
Yeah, Tinnis in trouble.
Going a bit slowly.
All kinds of drama at the start of this race, but there we go, Ethan round the outside into 130R. You don't see that very often, my friends. He's gone straight round the outside of him. So, Ethan on the move, behind them racing home, Tinnis and all those guys banging around somewhere. Someone else has gone off in the background. Yep, someone in the background. Someone in the background, Vector. I think the car behind, yes, carnage, both the Renaults in trouble. And there's been all sorts of carnage down there. I think one of them was upside down. I think it was Rob. There must have been contact. We didn't see it there. We just saw it in the glimpse. But both of the Renaults in trouble. In comes the other Jaguar as well. Ethan's got a penalty. But all sorts of carnage at the start of this race today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Well, the Renaults are making barging and banging together in the pit lane. Kaiser up front, Ethan in 2nd, batting away with Jazzman in 3rd, but all kinds of carnage here today in Suzuka. Well, Suisse Sakita, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in the pits, Vetro. Fogarty's already out of this.
Yeah, there was a lot of accidents near everyone. So, Evildragonxxl, Wim, Rob, and Cian are all in deep trouble, but let's keep an eye on Rotary and Jazzman because they're having a really massive battle.
Indeed, the slipstream train, you can see Ethan weaving ever so slightly, trying to break that toe a little bit, but up front, 5 seconds in 2 laps for your race leader. Incredible place for Jazz for Kaiser, because all the debris down there. I'm surprised, of course, this had a safety car. We're definitely be getting a red flag, in my opinion, here. But alas, this game doesn't have the red flags as they all come through down towards turn number 1. Rotary still second. Jazzman just slightly behind him in third. Behind those two, we got Big Key D and racing at home ahead of Tinnis as well. So far, everything going relatively well for some of the drivers as Big Cat Daddy currently again in his favourite 4th position. And alas, Fogarty out so far, veteran. Let's just go through that start. Utter carnage straight off the line. And I'm not sure what happened to the 2 Renaults on the exit of the last corner, but definite carnage as Rotary still under pressure from Jazzman.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in the first, let's say, 2 laps. I think 2 cars flipped, actually. We got Rotary under real pressure from Jazzman right now. Let's see, I think if he gets a good exit around Spoon, he might actually try to do something at 130R. I think he even got a bit wide. So let's see. Oh, that was really close. And Ethan has been overtaken by Jasmine once again, but maybe he can get a good exit.
Damage though, that looked awfully close. There must have been contact, surely that. Let's see that slipstream time again. Look, Jazzman's vulnerable. Jazzman's vulnerable. Is Ethan going to try around the outside through 130R? Surely not. Side by side, he's forced himself off the road there. He's run too wide. Now he'll try and get back at him. He won't be too pleased at that one. Jazzman all over the shop there. He's got no tyre grip. Has he got damage? Has he got damage? He's covering the inside. Here we go, Ethan. Now, which way is he going to go? He's going to go dart to the left. Now to the right. Round the outside through through the first corner. Can't do it. Big Kid Daddy just sitting behind. And he fancies a look at this as well. Meanwhile, behind these two, we've got a cold tyre. Michael racing at home in trouble, Vector. Racing at home in big trouble. He's gone off through the last corner.
Oh, he has as well.
Someone else actually behind Tinnis. Tinnis in trouble.
Tinnis as well. Oh, dear. They're dropping like flies. Oh, dear. Ethan is in trouble now as well. BKD is down round the outside in Deckner. Let's see if he can get a position. Yeah. Yes, he does.
Ethan dropping it on the grass as well. That's so a lot of drivers proving this race difficult. But first race compared to this relatively tame in Hockenheim Ring. However, this one proving difficult for the drivers. Maybe it's that 2 week gap.
We have had a flipping car in Hockenheim as well. Don't forget.
We've had a few, but alas, we've not had 4 or 5 of them. I'm not sure if Tinnis was upside down there because that was a very cute angle to be coming in the pit lane. Michael racing at home.
Tinnis. Oh, that's an interesting camera angle. It's like back
Bird's
to
eye view
when they did those cameras.
Cleek.
See, he's letting someone through.
Leader.
I think.
Be a race
It
leader
is as well. Oh dear, he's already lapped the 10th place, Kaiser has. He's already 10 seconds in front of Jazzman. Let's see
what damage does.
Even right behind BKD now. Let's see, down the inside he goes.
Yeah, he's got so much more straight line speed. He set that car up to be a rocket. Back up to 3rd position then for the Englishman up near Swindon. Big Daddy, of course, the young, well, the 100% young timer, but he's very much almost as old. He's and more experienced than Fogarty, I think. About 300 Grand Prix starts or motor racing starts. Alas, as well, Jazzman about 115 race starts for the man currently living in Qatar, born in South Africa, and the Kaiser, of course, often the man on a mission. Oh, Big Daddy off! Is he in the wall? Is he in the wall? I think he's got damage. He might have damage. That looked like a shunt in the wall. He has got damage. Big Daddy in trouble here on that number 5. And alas, it was going well for the Englishman, but it's gone up in smokes.
Yeah, look at the entire side pod is damaged. I think he went sideways in. Still got his front wing though, but the damage model is so strict on this car. So Racing at Home is in as well.
Oh, this is just going from bad to worse here today in Sakito. Drivers making mistakes. It's like we're almost in an open lobby, Vector. The amount of drivers are going off. I mean, of course, this is not. Yeah, Chicano ahead of Big Daddy, who's got big damage there. Suspension, definitely. Whereas must have been right rear. So we got away with it in the last second. We don't really know how bad the impact was, but we saw him going in. Contact was made. And unfortunately, that happens. 15 drivers left in this race, racing at home currently in the pits.
Tinnis actually comes out right now. You remember, he went in about a lap ago. He only comes out now.
He must have flipped, Vector. It's the only logical solution. He must have gone over.
Did you see something in the distance? Because I was focusing on what happened in front, but I didn't see any contact.
You saw the minimap when they stopped, so he must have flipped because there's no other reason to be in the pit then that long. Unless, of course, he's gone upside down at least once. We know in some performance impact he not full damage, otherwise I think we might see more than one driver out.
Else actually lost a position, I think, to Cold Tire. Cold Tire is now in P4. Who would have thought?
I think it was already in 4 Vector, if I'm not mistaken. He's been there for quite a while. 128. So Michael coming back through.
There was a change of position somewhere. Look at the pit line, by the way, how bumpy that is.
Oh no, incredible bumpy pit. And up front, meanwhile, Kaiser and Jazzman lead this race now by 7 and 10 seconds. A total of 17 currently from first down to third position. Incredible difference between these
let's try
drivers.
To take a breather now and actually try to get an overview of the penalties. Rotary's got a 5-second penalty, Cold Tire 3. 10 seconds for Cleek and 12 seconds for racing at home.
Yeah, speaking of the pit
lane.
No,
I mean Lamaro and racing at home has got 6. Well, the gaps are pretty constant now. Guys are going a bit wide there, but no harm done. You can see at the back the gaps are massive. 5 seconds from Jazzman to Rotary, and about 7 seconds from Rotary to Cold Tire.
Yeah,
Jazzman. But only 3 seconds between Michel and Cold Tire, so they're pretty close still.
Jazzman must have made a mistake recently because that gap suddenly dropped massively, and now you can see Ethan's now dropping back down to about 6 seconds behind. So those two rubber banding against each other ever so slightly. The gap there is coming. Currently, I think Jazzman's coming through quite a lot of traffic as well as his teammates. So I want to be careful. We'll go and have a look at Jazzman on board if we can, Vectro. He's got whose lap must be Wim Stratton's potentially. We got one of the Renaults. They're both getting out of the way.
It doesn't win because Wim is in the dark blue car. It's
Rob
Cleek?
Yeah, it must be Rob. And
it is Cleek.
Yeah, Cleek currently there, so that must have been Rob slightly behind them. So Cleek now the next car to be lapped by your current second position driver, Jazzman, who's going to be getting straight through because he'll get out straight out of the way down to turn number 1. The tyres despawn ever so slightly.
So Kaiser's getting up for some traffic as well now.
That would be
actually be Chicano. No,
Chicano.
That's Dan.
Yeah, Dan, and that'll be racing at home. Then gets right out of the way. Your race leader then so far on his way yet again in the sprint race for another victory today. He's a man on a mission this season for race wins in race number 1. He didn't finish race number 2 at last because he was upside down. And a lap down, of course. But race number 1, he's won it twice in a row, Vector, and this is often proving to be a formidable pairing. Jazzman and Kaiser, another 1-2 on the cards, but we've still got just over 4 or 5 laps to go.
Never say it's done before the white, well not white, the black and white flag falls.
Never say never again, Vectro, and anything can happen. There's Michael's meanwhile, in the teapot livery as I always used to call it, ahead of the mustard busted liveried Jordan. Slightly behind him of Chicano. Sorry, that must have been... Who would have that been in between them then?
It might be.
It's not Rob, no. It would have been...
Oh, we don't know the liveries yet.
Tinnis. It'd be Tinnis then, in between them.
Tinnis? It is Tinnis.
Yeah, it is Tinnis. So, Tinnis in between them then, up 6'10", so he's off on a man. So he's
currently flying. For Tinnis. He's so quick in... oh, there's a car stopped actually. There's a car stopped on the straight. Let's see what that is. Any idea?
Nah, can't really see, of course. Racing at home again, trouble. Yeah, racing at home. That's the one who's got trouble then. So
trying to find who stops right there.
No, they've got moving Vectro.
No, are they? Well, you can see on the main straight there are 2 cars. I think stopped at the pits, but
they're out the race, Vectro. That's why.
Oh, but who is out of the race then? Who are the drivers out of the race?
So we've got Fogarty out of the race, and let's just have a little look. So, hard to see who the other driver is. Fortunately, I can't really say for certain. Was it Big Daddy out of the race? Yeah, Big Daddy, I think.
Might be Big of Daddy.
Yeah,
actually, racing at home, he I think he just let oh dear, he lost his front wing.
Yeah, he lost his front wing. He was the one who stopped through the S section, Vectro. That's what I thought we were looking at. He's got big trouble for him. We're all getting confused today. A race is so much carnage going off.
If you look at the map, you can see red, blue, white. It's really hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah, multicolour rainbow. Meanwhile, up in about 8th position, there's a bit of a battle going on right now. If I'm not too mistaken. 7th position, so it must be 7th.
Well, Kliek is 12 seconds behind Dan and 34 in front of Wim.
There's a bit of traffic up the road there, Vectro. I'm looking at the car ahead, so it must be 6th position there, and have a few cars right in front of him. A lot of traffic today.
6th, well, with traffic, I don't think... It's hard to tell who is in traffic and who is not.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's Michael, that's me, who I'm seeing, who's just got passed by Tinus.
I'm trying to look at stuff, but it's
hard to see.
The gaps are so massive.
It's hard to see where everyone is, because unfortunately it's something I Race Project Cars 3 had. It just told you what position everyone is. Maybe like another screen, especially for the director, where they can see exactly where everyone is on circuit.
Or like every like dot on the track actually got the initials of the driver.
That would be useful.
You can see who is where.
Indeed, I agree with that one. But meanwhile, up front, Tinus. Sorry, well, not up front, Tinus. Up front, Kaiser. I'm so used to Tinus beating up the front in these races. However, he's not. He's currently down there in what? 12th position, racing home in the pit lane for the 3rd time this afternoon for race number 1. Meanwhile, he's got the car back going again, and away he'll go. Bumpy pit lane, by the way. Incredibly inaccurate. I'm not sure why it's so bumpy. Alas, it is.
It's not Suzuka.
It's not Suzuka.
They get away with that because it's technically not Suzuka. They can make it whatever they want.
Indeed. So they chose to make it bumpy. I'm not sure they plan to do that because it does break the suspension, in my opinion. In pro life it would do, but alas on the game, not really, you can't break it. Meanwhile, Lamaro 0-0-0 up on his lap time, so he's consistently quick and consistently off the road. And consistently going off, and he's got it back on.
Watch out for, I think that's Ethan actually behind him.
No, it is not. So,
we were, yeah, tomorrow. Let's see, Tinus and Rob 2K are, I think, the closest pairing on the track, about 1.6 seconds separates them.
Tinus flying around this circuit right now. I don't think Rob's going to stand too much of a threat there. He is just at the road for currently the second Degner and the Renault, and the Jordan closing right up on the back of him so far. Should make it.
It's just me, or can you actually see that the nose cone of Tinus is going slightly to the left because it's damaged?
Yeah, it is damaged. You can spot that, Joe. Damage there. Look at the speed differential between these two drivers. This is a really dangerous situation, to be fair, for these drivers as well. The speed difference incredible, about 20 k's. You get straight through there, up to now 11th position. Next one up is Lamaro for Tinus, and he's what, some 20 seconds up the road, and the pace he's going 4-5 seconds a lap in 4-5 laps. Man, not there. Could be feasible. See what happens, of course. It'll take about 20 seconds out.
25. You know, Lamaro was about 4.3 off the pace in qualifying, so never say never. By the way, as it stands right now, Kliek will get pole position in the next race if his position stays the way it is.
28 seconds out of him.
Was it the top 8 or was it completely?
I think it's. I can't remember. I think it's top 8 if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out because often we can't check again because of course the AOR site, especially for me, it's still down. Keep up to date. If it comes back up, we'll give some information. But alas,
6.3 is the gap between Chicano and Michel NL, so that might close down a bit in the final 2 laps. Let's see. Kaiser's about to start the that last lap, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Often a man on a mission. Led every lap from the start to the finish. No pressure from his teammate. He's been absolutely trouncing Jazzman. A second a lap quicker for the last 13 laps. Jazzman's been battling with Ethan Mine for the last little bit. Ethan getting caught by Coulter a little bit right now. That last lap relatively slow for the Englishman.
Yes, it actually is. 5.4 will be quite a chore to get that time back. But of course, the last lap Anyone can still make an incident in the last lap, so never say never.
At 128 for Ethan, so he's got the pace back up, of course. Kai's up through Degner 2, leading all the way. Currently through the long left-hander towards the long flowing right-hander before spoon curve. Making no mistakes about it. This man, often on a charge, second race of the season of the 6-round championship, or technically, 12 races by technicality, of course, because both of them are 2 separate races. Even going quicker.
Quicker as well.
Yeah, quicker on the first lap. He's just going to rub it in for the runes. He's got the fastest lap by far. Going for the last corner then. Here comes the Kaiser. He doesn't have to get the fast lap, but he wants the fastest lap. Through he comes then. Kaiser took the lead from pole to flag. Race number 1 in the bag. He'll start down the back for race number 2 then. Cross the line in style. Now, 17.
Cold Tire is actually 1 second behind.
What is the penalties? What is the penalties, Vectro? 3 cannons. Jazzman across the line in second.
Oh, yeah, the penalties. That is true. Jazzman hasn't got a penalty. Jazzman takes seconds anyway. 5, and I think Cold Tire might actually get the podium here.
He will, unless he makes a mistake.
2 seconds. It's 1.3 is the gap. Even needs 2 seconds.
We won't get it.
I don't think he will. I think Cold Tire will snatch the podium off of him.
A car that's limping, of course. He's slowing down. And he will finish 3rd, but it won't matter because he'll finish... Oh my dear God! And,
that might be a bit of frustration there.
Peggy 13 there. That is a broken car. It is now upside down against the cat's fence. So the marshals quickly to come to the aid of Ethan. The cameraman doesn't want to see it, so he's blurred it out. He's looking at the grass.
Yeah, he's it's censored.
Censored the incident. Horrible accident.
Oh no!
Wow, that's an interesting thing. Kaiser wins here today.
We might have to censor the stream now.
Kaiser from Jasmine, Cold Tires, Rotary, Michael, Takano for STR, Dan, Cleveland Stratus, Lamaro in 10th. Tinnis in 11th, Rob, Racing at Home, Sian, Big KD, Fogarty, and right now we're looking at Ethan's bottom. I think we've got some interviews of Ethan actually. I think he's here. We're also looking at his backside. Hello Ethan, if you can hear us. So, 4th position, had a good race there. I presume, did you get damage of that battle with Jazzman? They were very close.
No, I didn't get any. Well, I did kind of get forced off the circuit. It was twitching a little bit, but I can't really say that was a great race. Gotta say that was actually, unfortunately, kind of boring. The endurance league as well. These cars with downforce like this, which haven't been designed properly in terms of dirty air, it just really ruins the racing. Because I could only battle with Kaiser and Jazzman for like 1 lap until dirty air just messed me up. Which, I mean, I guess it kind of is realistic, but like it just spreads out the field too quickly, and it just became a real snooze fest for the majority of the race.
Of course, kept yourself clean, especially from that first couple of laps. Cars going off everywhere, so starting down the back in race 2.
I think as an individual driver, it can be quite a snooze fest, but for the commentators, oh dear, it wasn't a snooze fest at all, because there was stuff happening for about, well, I think 2 firsts of the race, maybe the end was a bit, it was looking for some excitement, so just a lot of lapped cars and no idea where everyone is and who everyone is. But anyway, we did enjoy your battle and the overtakes around the outside at 130 yard though. Congratulations on them.
Well, I guess that's just... I had my car set up incorrectly by the looks of it. Running low downforce doesn't seem like it's the way to go, because I was getting absolutely gobbled up in the corners. But in the straights, it did end up working out. Did make that signature overtake around the outside. Nice to pull off moves. It does feel oddly satisfying pulling off moves like that, especially against the people of like Jazzman, who's considered to be a well-renowned driver. But I think he kind of saw it coming, because he did kind of lift off to give way, because I think he knew it was possible that I could go around the outside. He saw that my car was quicker in a straight line, I think he wanted to rather avoid getting collected up, just to hand the position and then see if he could snap me up in the corners, which he certainly was. But yeah, I'm happy with how the race went. There was definitely a podium there. Just kind of disappointed with the track limits around this circuit. It's always proved to be a bit of a how can I put this? It's always proved to be rather inconsistent. I feel every time we've raced here, it seems to have just been a bit too unfair, if I'm honest, giving you penalties that are just completely unjustified when you're not really gaining much time. But I'm not really fussed about results. I'm here to have fun, since it's my last season on Project Cars 2, so just going to take it on the chin and just see if I can do better in this feature race.
Indeed, starting nearer the back, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. It's first top 8, or was it first top everything? I can't remember.
I'm not too sure.
I can't remember because I can't see, because the sight's back down again, so I can't actually let you know what it is. But starting somewhere down the field, with the amount of corners going on, what's your main concern is in this second race? Are you looking just to keep it, well, presumably obviously clean, but how does mentality go through when you know the amount of carnage is possible in these reverse grid races, especially from what we just saw in that race? Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, in GT3, when we had those reverse grid races in season 15, I think it's personally down to the car. Like I've said before, these cars are just so ridiculously bad in terms of their design and hitbox. You don't even need to be alongside someone to send them flipping. I mean, reverse grid, it's all down to trust and respecting the other driver, which I'm hoping all these guys do. But my mentality is just keeping out of the way of everyone. Obviously, starting right at the back. In terms of if it's the top 8, then I'll be starting around 6th or 5th or something like that. So I'm not too far. No, that's incorrect. I don't actually know where I'm starting, so 11th. So that is actually quite far back. I mean, it all depends really, because I mean, I didn't see what was going on behind me, but from the sounds of it, what's going on, it doesn't take a lot to cause a lot. It doesn't take a lot to cause a lot of carnage with these cars, and we'll just have to wait and see.
By the way, he did not flip, but he couldn't avoid a spinning racing at home, so he had a bit of an accident at the final corner with him.
I'm imagining T-bone of death happening, which isn't good. Damage model in these cars, questionable. We've seen today. However, open wheels. To be fair, in real life you've seen cars fly like that, so not too unrealistic, but they shouldn't flip like that. But nonetheless,
they're a bit too easy to flip, I must say. It's not like when you tap tires, it just whoop, goes into the air. I mean, you've got gravity and weight in real life, and in this game, it's
gravity doesn't exist. Gravity is a lie.
Gravity kind of exists, but weight kind of does not. Only like when you go from left to right, weight exists, but when you go up and down, it does not.
27 laps ahead of us. 17,000 hours in the sky, so it's going to be a bit darker, by the way, so expect to see occasional some lights going on around here. I presume the shadows, especially around this circuit, can be very long and hard. At least we get to see the beautiful Ferris wheel in all action today, Vectro, eh?
Yeah, the Ferris wheel actually stands in a different position, I think, in the actual thing in Suzuka. But yeah, you can actually see in the top left, you can see those lights, those rainbow lights. Well, we'll be able to see that in more detail in just a few moments' time. While Jasmine will get all the things sorted, the grid and stuff. The grid is here. I will read it out for everyone. From 1 to last, we've got Cian, Racing at Home, Rob, K2, Body, which is Tinnis, Martin Roberts, Lamaro, Wim Stradamus, Cleek, STR Dan, Chicano, Michel Anel, VSR Rotary, Cold Tire, Jazzman, The Kaiser, Big Daddy, and C. Fogarty will line up in last. Which is interesting, because The Kaiser won't start last, but Big Daddy and Foggy will. So if you retire, you do start last, no matter what.
And indeed, sorry for the slight delay there. I had to grab a drink quickly then because my throat decided to set on fire. Yeah, of course, if you do qualify last, well, do not finish the race, you are, of course, forced to the back of the grid, of course. Not only to allow more fair racing, Vectro, because, of course, if you just DNF right at the end, if you're not having a good race to get yourself up front, that'd be pretty mean of course.
There'll be interesting tactics, and to avoid that, they've made those measures impossible to do. You can actually see the gravel traps with those perfect lines in there. It looks pretty nice, I must say, the gravel traps, but it would be really bumpy in real life.
Yeah, because the only real gravel trap on this game that if you go and you feel it, Indianapolis, turn number 2. Go into lap if at a high speed and you will not have a good day. Especially with force feedback because your hand might come off, literally.
Yeah, there's also a different track when you go on the gravel. It just bounces up and down. Really heavily.
Indeed. 27 laps ahead of the drivers then. The lights fading in the sky. Anything can happen today here at the second race. And it usually does. If you're coming, of course, to join us today. Evildragonxxl and Vectro666 currently bringing you live commentary here down in the rising sun. Well, the rising sun is setting right now, so the setting sun, which is rather poetry in this race indeed. Oh, a nice autumn evening that show adds on in the sky. All the different colours of the leaves falling on the detected mountain in the background. Rob 2K down in 7th, Vicky Daddy in 9th so far, but of course, that's all not going to matter because we'll get the rolling start, and of course, then they'll be going one by one to the flag.
Yeah, even the rolling starts can be pretty dodgy with these cars, because normally with LMP and with the GT3, of course, you can see the braking lines in front of you, so you are warned when someone else in front of you tries to warm up the brakes. But with these cars, it is not. And of course, because this car can jerk to the right and to the left really acutely, that means you really gotta watch out what you do under the formation lap, because one tiny nudge and you've got massive damage. You need to pit right away. So everybody needs to be right on their toes.
Indeed, everyone here on the wheel as well, Vectro, if I'm not too mistaken, no pad users. Really goes to show how much of a wheel car this is, and to be fair, driving on the wheel myself now, it's quite fun. However, Vectro, you've driven this car on the pad, and you can take us through a little bit if you remember. How is this car on the pad for your opinion?
It can be really hard to control, of course. When you go into a spin, there's no holding it. Oh dear, you need to wait there. What's that? Cian. He almost went to the back of Giacano there. But yeah, it can be a pretty tough car to control. It was a long time ago when I did league races with this car. It is pretty rewarding when you get the lap time correctly, though. It is way more rewarding than, let's say, GT3 cars to get it done. For me personally, at least.
Indeed. Welcome to waiting for the last couple of cars to get themselves in position.
Teapot livery there.
Yeah.
Now I remember why you call it a teapot. You can see it on the rear wing.
Yeah, test pot, teapot, as I always used to call it. There's the Fanatec McLarens. Then comes the Jordans and Fogarty down the back. Mr. Carl Fogarty, the 40, well, technically 59 of Carl Fogarty is real life. However, this Carl Fogarty is the imposter Carl Fogarty. Last Reno, Messi's lying. Maybe he's in wrong Carl Fogarty. Maybe we'll never know. Secret identity of Carl Fogarty. Maybe he's both.
Maybe it is the real Carl Fogarty, but he uses an alias and Carl Fogarty, but he doesn't. He says he's not Carl Fogarty, but he says he's someone else who is not Carl Fogarty. Well, anyway, let's get back to the actual thing that matters.
Indeed, the thing that matters, of course, is this race. What can
Kaiser do is the thing that matters, because he's all the way down on 14th. The main thing for everyone who are the faster drivers, because there's a really big speed differential, is how will these drivers go to the front of the field again with avoiding any damage? That is a really really big question.
It's a gamble as well. Do you go for all gluts and glory, or do you take it one at a time? Knowing that if you get caught up in the traffic and don't make the way through, the guys at the front, especially Sian racing at home, Rob, they've all got a chance of winning this race.
What about Tinnis?
Yeah, Tinnis in fourth. He's got a good chance as well, but you have a good point today. Tinnis could be the fan favourite. But here we go then, 2 by 2 then, through the last corner, both of the Toyotas. 1 and 2 from the Renault and the Jordan. Then comes the other Renault, then comes the Frost Teapot. Down there in the 6th position of Stratus. Race 1 went questionably well. What can race 2 provide then? Rolling start for compared to grid start. We're just getting ready to go in a few seconds time. And when we are, those 3 beautiful flags go off. And we should just be about racing right about now. Good start from Xian. Good start from racing at home as well. But it's another good start from one of the Renaults. They're 3 abreast. Almost in the background there. Everyone keeping going. Oh no, not again. Oh my god. Oh, massive accident. Oh my god. Oh god, it's a shunt. Oh my dear god.
That's Jasmine upside down. This is not what I was expecting to happen.
And for the second time today, it's been proven troublesome as their race Kaiser in trouble as well. Up into 9th and another one off. And they're more trouble racing at home, Michael and L. And this is shambolic, shambles here. And oh, there's another one. There's another one. They're dropping like flies. No. What is going on here? It's almost like they've forgotten how to drive. What on earth is going on? This is outrageous. Lemar in trouble as well. Down the back, cold tires. Jazzman out. And I do not blame them. I simply cannot blame them. This is absolutely shambolic. This is absolutely just... Oh my goodness, here. Rid Stratus here in 4th. But what can you say, Vectro? What a carnage.
What a start he made, by the way. He is now up the inside of Carl Fogarty. Carl Fogarty survived the first lap here. And around the outside of... Oh no.
Inside.
He let Kaiser through then.
And again, second time as Bicky Daddy in trouble.
Oh, Bicky Daddy?
Yeah, Bicky Daddy in trouble. He's got damage there, so he's had contact with, must have been about 5th, 6th in the pit lane as well, racing at home. How many people are in the pit lane?
All the way to the back, Lasser's front wing as well, goes into the pits. And Klieg is also in big trouble there.
Meanwhile, Ethan up to 4th, by the way. Incredible start from him. He's already ahead. Tinnis in trouble, Vectro. Tinnis in trouble as well.
To
10th.
Oh, Tinnis actually.
Yeah, he's in 10th. He got damage. He must have had damage, Vectro. So
you know, there is a mandatory pits in this race. Maybe this is a tactical decision.
Indeed. Well, there. Meanwhile, STR Dan. That is Rotary just ahead of him there. Rotary now up to 4th position in this race. An incredible start for the English driver. STR Dan looking to attack his teammate, and Ethan probably saying, "Don't try it." He'd probably be worried. Let's see, does his team, well, his fellow colleague try anything? STR Dan struggling at the rear end. Behind them, Kaiser now down to 8th position, so back down the field already. But what can you say, Vector, at the start of this race? Again, these cars are proving absolutely shameful to race in. Of course, nothing the drivers can do, but the damage model is absolutely incredible.
The contact just creates a domino effect of
death,
massacre, and death, and confusion, and
delay,
massive accidents.
Yeah, it's just I'm lost for words. You can tell in my voice. As STR Dan braking incredibly early. Stratus, meanwhile, getting all over the back of the curb. And he's coming on behind Rob 2K, and I don't blame Jazzman if he's angry to not be here. I expect him to be absolutely furious. 2 drivers out of this race already. Tinnis, I think, back out on circuit. I'm wondering who we've lost. We've lost Jazzman and somebody else.
Lemaro.
Yeah, Lemaro. He got spot Vector out of the session already. Kaiser currently up into 8th position behind Carl Fogarty in 7th. So
I think up front it's all bunching up a bit more together.
Rotary,
yes.
Rem.
And STR Dan still pretty
Back
close to each
teammate.
other. Wim and Rob. Wim is dropping down a bit now. I think he made a slight mistake. Rotary has got him almost in the sights, and STR Dan goes out the inside there. Because Rotary went a bit wide, it looked like.
Struggling Ethan is right now. We've got teams not having any grip through the corners, but down the straights he's a rocket.
I think he decreased, well, increased his...
Oh, damn! Can he catch it? Can he catch it? He's
don't
off the road. He has. He's not in the wall. But a big off there for STR. Dan wants to be careful, my friend Rejoin. You got 1, 2, 3 cars coming through. In the background, someone else going wide. That must be the Kaiser in trouble, Vector, because the Kaiser's dropping down as well.
Kaiser? Oh no.
Oh yes!
there.
Kaiser is in trouble in the pit lane. He's hit the pit wall. Damage for the Kaiser. Your championship leader in the pits and in trouble already. And my God, and out
And a retirement.
again.
What
This
happened
is both the top two from the last race out before the end of lap number 5, and I'm just calling mutiny here. There's something's got to be changed, Vector, and these cars simply they cannot race. You can't race in them. They're just too dangerous. You do one race and there's just carnage, debris, and death and destruction everywhere.
It might also be the track, because it didn't go this bad 2 weeks ago. I mean, I'm really curious about what happened to Kaiser though, because we unfortunately missed it. But it's not really something you would expect. It's not really something you would expect. He may have made contact with someone. See, STR Dan is now getting closer to Fogarty again after his mistake. Fastest sector 1 for Tinnis, by the way, so he's still pretty much on the pace.
So I'm surprised, how STR Dan managed to catch, to be fair, through 130R.
Yeah, and in the gravel, kept it out of the wall. Massive
Fair play
speed
to
you
him.
carry there, of course, so if you lose the rear end there, it's a heart and mouth moment. See Wim and Chicano. Every time like one of those symbols pops up, I'm just gonna go there, because it might just be someone who spins around and causes a domino effect again, so... It's hard to keep track of it though, but I will do my best. And Kaiser left the session actually. I don't think that's supposed to...
Yeah, he's not going to be doing that. But, and I blame him. Anger, frustration, it can creep over.
But Cian is chilling out at the front. It's all going his way.
He's got a penalty. Well, pretty much everyone's got a penalty. Only more people who've
who
not
hasn't?
got penalties. Have got penalties and haven't got penalties. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people haven't got penalties out of 13 so far.
I think.
So we have a look at the penalties.
Though, a big surprise in this race can be Tinnis, of course, because the entire front of the field still needs to pit, if they haven't already.
It's about 20 to 30 second pits Vectro, so he's still going to lose more time. Okay, let's have a look at the penalties meanwhile. Slap 6 of 27, and everyone's small little penalties so far.
Kliger's got 10 though, but he's about a minute behind, so
yes. Fogarty's struggling a
there's
little
to
bit.
be something really magical if he...
Has Fogarty got
see
damage,
how much
Vectro?
actually? He's got 1.24 behind.
Fogarty looked very slow then. He was crabbing, it almost looked like. I'm not sure if he's got damage down there in 7th position, but going very, very slowly. It does
Oh, he
seem.
did lose it almost, and 130R looked like. Or did he keep it?
It stays out
Those
then.
curves on the inside, so dangerous.
So far, Cian, Rob, Ethan, top 3, Wim Stratos, and then Chicano, STR Dan, Fogarty, Michael, Tennis, Vicky Daddy. There is Cian, who's rather jolting himself around the circuit. Rob 2K in 2nd position, Vicky Daddy down there in 10th. There is Rotary in 3rd. Behind them, Wim Stratos a little bit further back. Ethan, on a man on a mission so far. Wim Stratos, his fellow driver, very close in pace, but right now it's proving very difficult to overtake. Tinner's the quickest driver on circuit by about 1.5 seconds, Vectro. Sorry, literally 1 second actually, my apologies.
Michel and now pretty close to STR Dan at this moment. Through the Deckners they go.
No, STR Dan struggling.
STR Dan goes a bit slowly through there,
That's
and
him
Michel goes into P7.
Lets him through. Don't think it was too much of a fight there. He didn't want to fight him. He knew you'll quick up. He looks like he's limping some kind of injury on the car, because he definitely looks very, very slow indeed. I'm not sure what's happened to the car. However, what we could say what's happened is it's got an issue of some description. Up front, 3.5.
Just had the fastest lap I see on the bottom right of my screen. 127.4.
Yep.
That's not right, because it says he did a 129.
Well, as per usual, the game being a little bit inaccurate there, but alas, we'll let him off sometimes. Racing at home in 10.
I'm looking at racing at home. Oh dear. Gold tire, yes, there we go. He did set the fastest lap then.
Oh, never mind then. I'll backtrack what I said about the game. Sorry, game, we love you. Really? Well, SGL Dan's in the pit lane.
In the pits.
I wonder if he was out for damage, because he was going very slowly.
Yeah, I think he did. Might be tactical pit stop, but it might not be. The driver does look a bit
Got Ethan,
injured.
I think, coming up to some lap traffic. Got some lap traffic coming up, Vectro. Quite a few drivers. That's Rotary there, so he's got, that's Rob2K, he's caught right up. The car right in front of them must be Cleek, I presume then, but Cleek and cold tyres.
Yes, it is.
Cleek, we've got cold dust just up the road. There is your race leader, by the way, of Cyan. Rotary closing right up as the sun sets in the sky then today. And now we come down towards the rather nighttime-esque section, Vector. It's just dark, and even more darkness. Ethan, 8 tenths behind. He's on a chance for a victory today, you know. Never count your chickens, but he's got a good shot. It depends how quickly and close up as Rob2K taking a very aggressive line there. And I think Ethan's got a chance down towards turn number 1. We know how quick he is in the slipstream. Does he try it? And he's a little bit too far back from this distance. He has a look. We say, I'm here. And try and distract Rob2K. But Ethan's a master of distraction. However, does it end well? Does Rob want to fight it too hard, though? That's the question. He's in second. But does he want to battle too hard and throw it away when Ethan's coming up quickly? Well, he's thrown it off.
Well, Rob went a bit wide there. That might cost him a bit, but in this section you're just forced to stay behind. So I don't think he lost too much with that.
He's under pressure, though.
It's under big pressure. If Ethan gets a good run out of the deck 2, he might get a chance at Spoon, but that'll be risky because Spoon is a quite dangerous corner to overtake. But of course, with this low down for setup, I think at 130 yard he might have a chance again. So let's see if he does another move around the outside.
Now Ethan, he likes doing this move around the outside. He's done it twice so far this afternoon. Might try to do it a third time. Bad exit from Rob2K. I think he's a bit too far back right now, but if he gets a good exit here, you know what? He's right in the slipstream. There's a chance. And you're telling me there's a chance. Can he try it? No, he's not. He's looking too far back now. You'll see him lift off as he comes through 130 not to unsettle the car. And now they'll go through. On board we go again with Ethan then. We should see him slingshot his way back through to the inside of Rob2K. Let's see, is Rob going to cover anything? I don't think he's got there, Ethan. Laid down towards turn number 1, side by side through the apex then. He's through. Oh,
he goes off.
Big off. Rob2K in the wall. That was there contact. There must have been contact. It was hit or miss. I think there must have been just some bit of contact there. And oh.
Out of frustration, he smacks the wall. And he thinks it is over. There goes my P2. A lot of frustration for him. Crooked nose.
And in the wall.
The cameraman is zooming in on him. The tears are running down his face. He's doing donuts out of frustration now.
He wants to be careful, Vector, because maybe he doesn't realise he's on live broadcast. Let's cut someone else, shall we? Well, we've got Chicano and Stratus. These two often that we don't see battling together. These two old horses. So far back together, Vector, but was that a little bit hit or miss? Was that? I think that was a racing incident there.
It was hard to see. There are two scenarios, of course. Maybe even went a bit wide. Maybe he turned in a bit too much. You couldn't really see that well from the angle of the camera. It's not really something you can say something about. I think.
He's out now.
We'll have to hear from the driver themselves.
Fogarty.
Fogarty,
Fogarty, where are you, my friend? There you are. You're being a Marshall post. Stop being that.
It looked a bit dramatic.
Dramatic Marshall post for Fogarty. He's closing up and racing at home. Oh.
These marshals are taking all the...
The marshals are taking over.
Tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, some drivers are going to get told off after this, I reckon, for leaving. Very comments, by the way. Do chuck them in the chat. We'll keep an eye on them.
Oh dear. Well, one thing is clear. Rob doesn't think he is at fault. He was. Oh, there. I thought someone was spinning. No, it was not. He says Rotary was a bit impatient there, and he took him out. So we do know what his point of view is. But of course, there's always two sides of the story, and Wimstradamus almost out of P3 he goes.
Pushing it, aren't they? Very loose rear end with Stratus. He has a loose rear end sometimes. He likes it nice and loose, but he often likes a nice strong front end and a nice loose rear end. So, like I say, he's got the back end out like a donkey right now. Chicano all over the back of him.
He goes a bit wide there. To see if Chicano gets a good exit.
A prancing horse over the back of the donkey, Vectro.
There are penalties, of course. They both got... No, Chicano got one, Wimstradamus got two.
So, pretty much all to play for them. We've still got half this race to go, meanwhile. Lamar is saying someone is lagging very badly in game. As Chicano all over the back of Stratus. It'll be straight through. Side by side like Ethan earlier was. And let's go to the outboard cam, Vectro, and see. Is it nice and clean this time around? Again, this time, unlike Ethan, of course. And Stratus decides to back off the move then. He knew it was over. And maybe, possibly, that could have been what was the other driver's undoing a few moments ago. But, alas, I'd say Vectro in these races. Pretty fast on new grip.
Yeah, I think the track temperatures now is also a bit colder. So the tires are colder as well. But I wonder, is there a mandatory pits in this race or is there not? Well, yeah, if there is, Cian still got to come in, Rotary still got to come in, Chicano still got to come in, and the Tinnis is in total 35.
Tinnis is the Masters really the Masters really like this camera today.
It wasn't the case last race, but I don't know what happened. Anyway, Tinnis is only 36 seconds away now. When Cian pits, he might actually be able to.
Oh, that's who was that?
That's Michel Anel.
Ah, it is Michel Anel. I thought it was I'm not sure who that was then. Has he got damage? He's got damage.
Might just be a spin and he had to
yeah, it's damage, Vectro. He's lifting
yeah,
off.
that is damage. It is damage.
Another car, another one. 11 drivers left in this race, by the way. We've got 5 retirements total.
So 5 retirements. 2 of those are
Kaiser and Jazzman.
And Kaiser, indeed.
Fogarty is still in this race, meanwhile, so he's soldiering on like a super trooper. But Cian leading this race still up front. Still leading. He's 2 seconds lap slower than Ethan. Ethan's closing up, to be fair. Ethan's on a man. He's a man on the mission. He's still got a chance. He might win this race. Never know, of course. He's still got to stop. And we're about 30 seconds, 29 seconds to Tinnis. It's going to be awfully close before the end of this race.
We're only halfway there. It feels like we already had a race on our hands at 4, but we're only the halfway. And there goes Michel Anel into the pits. I think, well, Racing at Home is only 4 seconds behind him. He might lose, yeah, he also loses position to Fogarty and to cold tire as well. He might end up at the back near Cleat. So his race went from bad to worse. There goes ST Arden. Also, really bad luck for him when he lost the rear end at 130R. That put him right at the back of the field. But Tinnis, 37 seconds. When the top of the field stops for fuel, well, or just does their mandatory pit stop, because I don't think they will stop for fuel. I think he still might have a chance on the podium position as well. He is dropping back though, I must say. He's lapping a second slower than Cian, so maybe I'm just saying stuff which is way too early. But I think he's still got a nice chance.
Jasmine in the chat, how does cars fly in the straight, on a straight at the start? We don't know, to be fair. I'm lost of words for you, my friend. That was one of the worst starts I've ever seen for a long time. And I can say that sincerely because I've seen IndyCar starts and go on my Twitter occasionally.
I think this might be the worst start we have seen since IndyCar.
Yeah. Drama and lots of carnage. Not a lot of action going on so far. Like
It's a
Tinnis
shame
in
we didn't
fifth.
get a different camera view because it was like diagonally faced, but you could see at the back there was just cars just running into each other, and it was like Spa 98. It was a pretty bad scene.
Rob in the chat is not very happy yet again with Ethan. Don't blame him, of course, unfortunately, but I can't say too much, Vectro. I can only say a racing incident from my view because the outboard cam. Last note, if we get an onboard view from the drivers, that'll decide it, of course, but we've got to stay impartial. One part, one of the dozen. Unfortunately, we're trying in fourth so far, on course for a fourth, potentially, maybe a fifth. Because goals. Tinnis really the only other driver in shot of potential coming through. He's having a bad lap, by the way, because he's dropped down quite a lot of time this lap. I believe it was going to be around about a 1:33 this lap, Vectro, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he didn't drop back 6 seconds though. I think it will be one of the just normal lap time because he was already about 30 seconds behind.
I think you're right, actually. Never mind.
If anything, he's actually making up time because he was losing a second per lap, but now he's only 3/10 off. So maybe I don't remember what kind of lap time it was. So maybe Cian is dropping down a bit, or maybe Tinnis is moving up a bit. So it's actually him, Cian, and Ethan making the doing the same kind of lap times, which means the gap doesn't really stay.
Rob's that as well, so more lag there. Means I can get a nice aerial shot of Sparlow maybe later on if I could save the replay. So doing that.
But this isn't Spa, but you can try.
Did I say
said
Spa?
Yeah, I think you said Spa. Yeah.
Oops. Sakito.
I don't think Sakito is in your collection.
It's not.
Yet,
It's
so,
Sakito from space. Let's do that. So. Disconnections always get a nice shot from space. So if you do disconnect, let me know in the chat. Well, I'll know if you disconnect. It will say, and I get a nice aerial spot of all the circuits on the game, which is always nice. I post them on Twitter every time I get them, when I get them. Meanwhile, Wim Stratus, 5th position. Sorry, 4th position, getting caught by Tinnis by 23 seconds behind. There, who's not too far away. Well, we've got some 11 laps to go, Vectro, in this race. And what's the car? Oh, we've got a car off, Vectro. Under the tunnel.
Oh, there is. Oh, it might be.
Is that the leader?
It
is the leader! The leader is off! And Ethan leads here, and he must be careful rejoining. Because there's one, there's two, but your race leader, Cian, in trouble. And Ethan leads here today in Sakito. And, oh, my godness. Oh.
You see, like I always say, it isn't done before it's over, and it wasn't over yet. So there is still so much that can happen in this race. There is you can never count how many chickens you've got because there might be just an egg with a bad chicken, which.
This is an interesting analogy. This is an analogy I've not heard, but fair enough. I kind of feel sorry for Rob right now. He could have been right up there in second, third right now. Oh, poor old. He's doing so well. Cian was leading, and then he's gone up. Tinnis, yeah.
No, I mean, Racing at Home is dropping back a bit. I think Racing at Home has got problems because Fogarty is getting closer and closer pretty quickly.
Yeah, Cold Tire as well in this gaggle.
Problems.
There's problems, and there's big problems. Yeah, see, car struggling.
Tinnis moved up a position because Cian is in the pits.
Cian now down to 5th. Tinnis now up to 4th position in this race. There's Fogarty closing all over the Racing at Home. That's the battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th position. Is out the way. I thought I saw some. I don't know in the background there, of course. Never drive through in this race.
It's Jordan.
Yeah, it's Jordan closing up on this gaggle as well. So.
No, he actually let them through, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, same lap, I think. No, yeah, I think he might be a lap down. I'm not quite sure, but everyone closing up.
No, he isn't a lap. I'm confused.
Everything's confusing.
What's going on.
I don't know what's going on.
Also, Wim is right behind Chicana, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. With Fogarty and Racing at Home and
oh, cold tires! My God! Muster sign, why is this happening? How many cars are we gonna have in the wall today? This has been absolute shambles here in Sakito. And I can't just say that, so is it the circuit, is it the cars? It's not the drivers, because they've been faultless throughout the last race, and they're all the same drivers, of course. You can't fault any of them. These cars and the circuit condition, well, the circuits are fine, just the cars.
Wim has actually overtaken Chicano.
Oh, there's a bollard flag in the background there for good measure. Yeah, Wim Chicano switched positions, but what can you do, Vectro, when there's everyone going off around you? How? This has got to be the most questionable race I've commentated on in a long time, Vectro. Tinner's up to 4. Fogarty all over the back of Racing at Home. And let's see, surely this might be a clean move between these two drivers. Maybe this time we've got to be, surely got to get a clean move on sometime, I believe, right? Aboard we go with Fogarty through 130 up.
He's a bit too far behind for now. But Wim goes up into seconds. Tinner's now 24 seconds behind.
Tinner's going to win this race if he's not careful. He's a real chance of winning this thing outright. Tinner's, there he is, getting past. That's cold tyres.
Racing at Home.
That's cold
tyres, I mean. Yeah. Oh yeah, because there was a really unopportune moment to have an accident, because it was just after the pit lane. I don't know, has this car gone over? Maybe on the curbs, because I was like, well, these three have got a battle, and I was trying to look at cold tyre, but he wasn't there. Chicano in the pits right now.
Yeah, Chicano in then, so he's gone and done the first. He's the first one to blink. And everyone else will now follow suit. Tinner's Racing at Home and Fogarty, meanwhile, 4th, 5th and 6th. These guys all haven't pitted, by the way.
He's got a penalty for track limits, so...
Oh, Fogarty Racing at Home off, I think. Racing at Home, he is off. Trouble for Racing at Home, and how you not have a battle today, Rebecca? How many times?
STR down, back up to 6th again, from 10th position.
Yeah, he's flying. He's kept himself clean. He might even get 5th out of this, you know. It's a chance. But
it's Racing at Home, they're dropping like flies. It's like the one after the other. It's unbelievable. But Tinner's actually took 3rd position off of Chicano, so, and he's 23 seconds in front of him.
Are
you
kidding me like that? For how many?
I think Tinner's is up for a race win.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong for him, of course, because you can't say anything anymore. You cannot say anything.
Anything can happen. He's catching Ethan by...
We just have to shut our mouth, because everything is a competition.
Censor ourselves, because everything we say in this race is going to go wrong. Fogarty in 5th, by the way, so he's doing a terrible job. We'll say that because he made reverse psychology. Haha. Yeah, he's doing a brilliant job, I'm saying. I'm only kidding. He's flying around this circuit. Maybe we just have
to do no psychology anyhow.
Just say the opposite. Maybe everything will work. I don't know. This has got to be, Vectro, the most carnetic race I've seen in a long time. This is a shameful race.
I wouldn't call it shameful. It's well, it's interesting in its own way.
Questionable by car physics.
You can't really call it a race, but it's a
deathmatch, survival.
I'm kind of enjoying watching this.
This has got to be.
I like races which has got a lot of questions and
turns and drama and just absolutely everything. Racing Home back out on circuit, by the way. He's in 8th position. Fogarty so far. Ethan up front, leading this race from Wim's tractors. Tinner's in 3rd. He will definitely come out in the lead of this race. He's just got over 8 laps to go.
Still 8 laps to go indeed. Tinner's is catching up 3 seconds faster than Ethan on the final lap. Ethan will go into the pits pretty soon, we believe. 40 liters still in the tank. It's just about going into the pits and stopping. It's not about doing anything, not changing tires, not adding fuel. Cold tires still in the pits, so there's massive damage.
Well, as you say, literally as you say, Vectro exits the pit lane, well, so...
Well, he was quite a long time in the pit lane.
Well, on cue, I suppose.
3 minutes and 12 seconds.
Longest pit stop so far I've seen. STR down in 6th. Closing up Fogarty in 2nd. He's 25,000 up on this lap
Look
time.
at the Well, SCO's got no penalties, and Fogarty's got 7 seconds, so that's
done deal pretty much. Up front, top 2, both 2-second time penalties.
Fogarty, that's him through.
Yeah, Fogarty's gone on, I think. He's made a mistake. I've potentially through the exit, the corner, gone on the curb, potentially lost the rear. There's always a possibility.
We seem to miss all the action. There's so much action, but we seem to miss it by a millisecond.
Fogarty's engine very much overheating, by the way. 115 degrees. That's in warm territory, in my opinion. That 114 degrees C at least. So very, very, very warm.
If compared to Ethan's engine, it's 85. So it's a big difference. And Tinnis's engine is 95. So he's about 10 to
20 degrees hotter. And 30 degrees for Ethan. Ethan's taking this swift and calmly. Fogarty in the pit lane meanwhile, so he decided he wants to come in.
He's hit the wall. I think he might have damage as it is.
Well, he's going to have damage from that one, and he's going to be banging the steering wheel in frustration, anger, questions, and...
Did you just say he was doing well just a second ago?
I did, and now he's gone off, so...
Yeah, he said reverse psychology. I said that won't happen. We're just better off saying nothing.
I mean,
there are 2 lap cars pretty close together, but they're not battling for position. Who are they? It's Michelin and
Coltire.
Klieg?
Coltire.
Or Coltire?
No, Klieg.
Klieg.
Well, began with a C, so one of us was right, I suppose. But Klieg and Mikel, there are a lap between each other. Michael in 6th position, STR down about 40 seconds up the road. 21 seconds now between 3rd and 1st, so I believe it's almost a done deal when these two pit, that Ethan and Stratford come behind Tinnis, and Tinnis on all course and all cylinders to win this afternoon's motor race, unless something goes horribly wrong. And with our track record today, Vectro, it probably will. Who knows? Hopefully it doesn't, but we can't say it. Fogarty in the pit's a long time.
Well, there's I don't think there's anything you can say anymore, which might or might not come true, because anything is possible and anything can happen in Formula Renault, and it usually does, just like we've seen today. I think we've seen everything that can happen. Racing at Home, by the way, is getting followed by Cian, who's making a comeback. Wim is in the pits, by the way.
Yeah, and 2 teammates.
Let's see if they don't demolish each other.
Well, Racing at Home. I think Racing at Home right now, he'd get out of the way of his teammate, because his teammate flying through the field quite a lot quicker. Cian, it was the race leader, of course, until earlier on when he went off the road, and now let's see, is he going to try and get past his teammate? But Racing at Home, trying to cover his line, goes wide, and Cian straight through that up into 7th position for the driver, ahead of the other, the Englishman of Racing at Home. I'm trying to exit the pit lane right now. You can see, Tinnis is going to be...
in the pits once again. Is that for damage?
Yes.
Yes, it is. He's gone up again.
That's an interesting question, Vector. How far ahead is Tinnis to with Stratus? It's
20
seconds, so it's a massive
17
gap.
seconds, so that's quite a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, so he's going to come out. So Tinnis is relative. Tinnis could right now afford to back right off.
It's going to come.
Be about I think 14 seconds, I reckon, between Tinnis and Ethan then. So Ethan's going to come in this lap, I reckon, you know. So I think in his heart he knows 2nd position, but
see, Michelin-Nell's gone off again.
Ugh, another one.
And Ethan is in, so yeah, let's take a close look. Yeah, I think Tinnis will get the lead comfortably.
Yeah, he'll get miles ahead. He will come, before he even gets in the box, he'll come through then. So, Tinnis, on all cylinders flying high for the man, Bodie his name. Tinnis, he goes, into 1st he goes. And away he goes, Ethan, that long stop, here we go, and 3, 2, 1, and away he goes. Oh, that's going to go
run
left.
Over someone's leg.
You want to go left, my friend, not right. Left he goes, Wim Stratus.
Actually, it's got to get close to Wim.
Now come way ahead.
It's got to get pretty close to Wim, and he will get out in front, but Wim has got chances to overtake him for 2nd. There's about 3 laps to go, so it can still
keep your hopes up.
Close.
Chicano closing up on these guys as well, by the way. Not too far back, 4 seconds. So Chicano last lap 1:27.7. Quickest driver on circuit that particular lap.
You gotta give it to Tinnis actually, because no mistake at all during this. Yeah, maybe he went to the
Don't say that. We'll curse him.
But so far he's had
he had
a really good race.
So far,
really,
no mistakes. Yeah.
No mistakes at all. So whatever happens now, he did a great job anyway.
Yeah. If he dies, he dies, as we say. More stratus Chicano, bit of sneaky smoke out the rear of the car. A lot of action going on down the field, by the way. Mikel in the pit lane finally after that long journey. And you know what? You can put a cup of tea on. You know what Michael announced? Sponsored by tea. Subscription. Not sure what tea. Put your favourite tea in the chat. Why not? Let's see your favourite tea in the chat. I don't like tea, if you're wondering. Do you like tea, Vectro?
I like tea. Yes.
What tea do you drink in the Netherlands? There's not a lot of acting going on.
It's hard to tell. I like ginseng tea. It's stimulating for the mind. It's pretty good. Anyway, back to the race actually, because there is stuff happening right now. Because Chicano is catching up to Wim at a high rate of knots. Look, I wanted to say Wim goes slower than Chicano, but Chicano had a 1:35 and Wim had a 1:29. So I don't know how the gap has decreased. But other than that, Ethan is streaming away from Restradamus, so I don't think Wim can attack him for a second anymore. If things stay like it is. And Chicano might actually be able to snatch a podium off a win. But let's take a look at the penalties. Wim's got 4, Chicano's got 10.
I think Wim Stratus wins in the battle of the penalties then, so alas, unless it goes wrong, you know, I don't think we're getting past too easy, even with that 2 second. Maybe the drivers haven't got penalties, by the way. Dan and Mikel then, apart from Tinnis, of course, he's just kept himself clean. I reckon Tinnis right now isn't really pushing too heavily. He can afford. He's got 2 laps to go.
He kind of is, because he's still doing 1:29.8. 6. It's only 1 second off his fastest lap. So he's still on the pace. He's still pushing.
He's keeping the car. He's conserving a little bit low. He knows there's no point putting it too hard if you bump it in the wall with this little time to go. As he goes, dips it on the grass and almost spins it on cue. Behind them, Rob 2K a little bit further back as well.
It went to Rob 2K on his own, even though he is out of the race.
Yeah, interesting camera angle there. Rob 2K, Phantom
which is
Rob.
Weird.
Phantom Rob invading us. I think the game's having much fun today. Meanwhile, down there,
interesting.
Not a lot of action going on. STR down.
Cold tire set the fastest sector 1 of all.
Yeah, and cold tire I think just went off the road, you know, reckon there, because it was going very slowly. Everyone pushing hard, of course. The sun's setting above the mountains here in Sakito. It's over a lap to go, Vectra, before the end of this race, and a race really that's been marked by controversy, drama, and simply appalling accidents, might I say. And it is much as I don't want to say it. The cars just simply aren't raceable around some circuits, and maybe it's not the best idea to race these cars. Of course, they're doing a brilliant job. The race they have done, but in all the races we've seen, Vectra, there has been a crash that's been simply horrific.
It has. I can remember though when I raced these cars. Fuji was a pretty nice track to race these on, because there's enough space to race, and of course there's a pretty tough track as it is, with a pretty tough car with a lot of drivers around you. It's just uncontrollable sometimes. So I get it. It's not really raceable. That's good in that regard. But anyway, Tin is on his final lap. I don't think there's a lot of action going on right now in terms of battling. So let's take a quiet look at this track from onboard cam from Tinnis in the house.
Led pretty much from these pit stops, from when everyone else pitted. A masterful strategy, a masterful disguise, pitted early. Whilst everyone else was in carnage, got some clean air, got some clean laps in. This could be the situation throughout the season. Pit early. And get your laps in. There's a lap car there. We'll get well out of the way then. That's Michael L or his teammate at least. Through the last 2 corners he comes then. Tinnis. No pressure. No threat. No drama. From the time he pitted, he must have knew he could have been in a chance for win. And he does win. Tinnis in the house wins race number 2. Here today. Ethan, well, he was asking for a podium. He should have got a podium in the first race. Well, guess what? He'll definitely get a podium in the second race then. Across the line comes VSR Rotary then. And another flick spin, I reckon, across the line in about 2 seconds. He's going to be happy with that one. And I reckon quite a few people are as well, apart from Rob, I expect, to not be happy. Chicano and Wim Stratus 3rd and 4th position.
No flick spin this time.
SCR down when away. Last man on the lead lap.
Yeah, the rest are already finished. Well, apart from C Fogarty racing at home. Oh. Every time I see a car going off track a bit, so I
wince a little bit.
Oh, there is a lot of accidents going on at the back, but it doesn't matter because the race is over. The final results are: first, Dennis in the house with a masterful strategy. Even good race from him in P12. Rip Stradamus, he is in P3. Chicano 4th, STR then 5th, Cian in 6th. Racing at home in 7th. Fogarty, bad luck from him. Reverse psychology didn't work. Evil. Klieg in 9th. Michelin now in 10th after 2 pit stops, which is well, a bit more than they were supposed to. Cold tire and well, 3 pit stops at the end. Really good pace though, but a bit of bad luck and not finishing our Pick Daddy and Jazzman and 3 others. One of them was Rob, Kaiser, and
someone else.
Lamaro, I think.
Yes, Lamaro. Anyway, I'm gonna get the top 3 in. By the way, so we see the big blue screen of doom. Don't be concerned. We'll have some interviews to come. Going through them one by one, like Noah's Ark. Let's get them all in then. If I sent invite to the right party, or it'd be awkward. That's good then. So, well, whilst we're here, let's go start with the man who finished 2nd position in this race, who had some contact with poor old Rob down towards turn 1, which to our eyes was a racing incident. Take us through that incident, Ethan.
He turned into me. What else can you... I was fully alongside, so it's more his issue than mine. He turned into me. I couldn't really give a brass bleep word what he has to say. I was fully alongside. He clearly knew I was there, and obviously just completely forgot I was there when we got into the corner. So as far as I'm concerned, it's completely his issue, not mine.
Indeed. Well, drama for that. Apart from that, you had a very quite good race, to be fair. Took the lead from forgot his name, Cian, when he spun. My apologies, Cian, I forgot your name. When Cian spun, of course, but these cars, Ethan, they just seem to be causing issues. And in your opinion, are they raceable?
No, they're not. They're not raceable. This is something that should have been... Obviously, the coordinators must think that it is, but, you know, obviously there's a different skill set of drivers here. Some a bit, obviously not as... obviously some... I don't want to be offensive to anyone, because I want to be... I'm one of those drivers who likes to think everyone is, you know... There is different skill sets here, yeah. But that doesn't mean that the driving standards should change. Obviously, some people are going to be faster, but... Really, it's... I'm not too sure what can be done. A lot of it is down to the car. Obviously, maybe mine and Rob's incident might have been down to the car. Because personally, I don't see what I've done wrong to him. I just went up the inside, saw a gap. He Nearly said a bad word there. Not gonna do that. He just left the door open and I went for it, you know, and then turned into me, like, and then he's having a go at me for doing it. So I guess you can say it's 6.5 one of a dozen. Half of it's the car's poor design, and half of it's down to the competent driver inside the car, or some case the incompetent driver.
Indeed. Well, meanwhile, Tinus, you won the race. Where'd that come from? I mean, you pitted early. Did you have damage, by the way, or was that just a masterful strategy that we missed?
Nope, I didn't have damage. It was just to get some clean air and just race my own race, do my own thing, without getting into the dirty air, because I saw I was closing in on mob, I think it was. I knew I had a lot of downforce, so overtaking on the straights would be hard. So I thought, let's do my own thing, pit in early just for 1 liter of fuel, and yeah, at the end it paid out well. Thanks to a fantastic engineer.
Yeah, you're a fantastic engineer. Thank you. Doing that. So we've heard from Ethan his opinion on these cars raceable. I mean, you came through the field pretty easily compared to others, it seemed, due to your masterclass strategy from your engineer. What's your opinion on these cars? Are they raceable to you, or are they just dangerous?
Well, just have a look at race 2 at Hockenheim, and I think you got your answer.
Well, meanwhile, Jazzman, I think we know your answer to what that answer is going to be. Are these cars raceable? Because you, what happened?
Well, that's why I'm here. You know, getting second place in the first race, you know, you always, for the next race, going to see some interesting things. And at the start, I have to say, I think it was 2 cars completely sideways on the straight, going like across from the right-hand side to the left-hand side of the straight, not even, we're like 100 meters from the corner. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but to me it looked like they just didn't give you enough room to each other. I think people just not used to these cars yet, and still thinking that they're GT cars, when you know you can't really be running wheel to wheel like that, because any contact will, you know, disrupt the car quite badly. So yeah, so that was race over. But yeah. I believe that these cars can be raced. If you look at me and Ethan when he tried a worldie around the outside at 130R, I mean we got through there fine, I think. So it shows that it can be done. You just need to
have your head screwed on.
You just need to realize that you've got to give a lot more space and a lot more margin when you're racing these cars, because you can't afford to touch. You know, treat it like an F1 car. You know, any touch, it's basically game over. Yeah, and so I think hopefully now the guys have started to see how it is. You know, it is only race 2, and when you do these every 2 weeks, so I hope now that the guys have seen that. You know, you got to give some more space and a bit more margin, because what happened tonight was I've never seen something like that. Cars going sideways on the main straight 5 seconds right off the start. I mean, yeah, it was
Well, I mean, De Kaiser's not here, Jazzman. Did you know what happened to Kaiser? Yes. Because we saw him just crash in the pits and then retire.
Yes, I do know what happened. He had a bit of a coming together with Foggy. I think it was, and then he had a bit of damage. So when he went into the pits, he didn't click his speed limiter button. So that's what caused him to obviously crash into the wall and then speed into the pits as well. So and then get him disqualified. So that's what happened to him. So, not a great race for the, as you guys call it, the McLaren team.
It's McLaren now.
Yeah, we didn't have access to the site, so we couldn't see the actual team name.
Yeah, I know. I'll send you guys the list of the team names now after this. Yeah, you guys call it the McLaren team. Yeah. So it was nice to be Tennis's engineer for the whole race. So I'm glad he could bring home the victory for us.
Indeed. Well, let's see if we've got anyone else in the party. Let's have a little look.
To make just in between, we've been pronouncing Cian's name wrong all race. It's Kian.
Kian.
Well,
Kian.
I'm dyslexic.
Kian.
I get away with it. Sorry, Kian.
Okay.
So we'll keep that in mind for the next race. So Kian. Let's try to keep that in mind.
Indeed. Well, I suppose, Vetro, final views from you from this intriguing race.
It was a race with many different aspects. Of course, there was also some good racing. We saw some really good moves from Ethan. We've seen a lot of good overtakes. A lot of risky moves as well. I kind of enjoyed it as well. I enjoyed the racing, and it's. I think it's mostly the track because, of course, Hockenheim had some dodgy moments, but not as much as this track. On the kind of what wider tracks, I think we will get some good racing with these cars. And I'm still looking forward to the next race. Let's just hope it is less incident filled. But other than that, I enjoyed it.
Indeed. Well, my views are, before we head into Jazzman again, give us next race, we can't see it. Be our stat man.
Well,
You're gonna say
actually, no, it's Spa from what I believe.
Oh,
it is. Wow. Let's hope we're all careful going through Radion then. Spa is it? So yeah, so we'll see what.
Well, I'm already scared.
Well, until 2 weeks' time, again, when we get into Spa, where we should see some exciting racing or some other stuff. Hopefully not this race again, because I want to see that at Spa, because that'll bring back some bad memories of me racing there at least. We'll see you in 14 days' time. Will the controversy settle? Find out next time. Take care. Goodbye.